Hey everyone. Today we're going to talk about something that can completely change your life. We're going to explore how to build unstoppable confidence. And I want you to think of this conversation like we're just sitting together, having coffee, and I'm sharing some ideas that have really helped me and thousands of other people. Now, before we dive deep, let me ask you something. Have you ever watched someone walk into a room and immediately thought, wow, that person just has something special about them? They're not necessarily the loudest person or the most attractive, but there's something magnetic about their presence. That something is confidence. And here's the good news. Confidence isn't something you're born with or without. It's something you can build, step by step, understanding what confidence really is. First, let's clear up a huge misunderstanding. Many people think confidence means being loud, aggressive, or always having the right answer. That's not confidence. That's often insecurity dressed up as confidence. Real confidence is much quieter and more powerful. True confidence is simply believing in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. It's not about knowing everything or never making mistakes. It's about trusting yourself to figure things out, to learn from your experiences, and to bounce back when things don't go as planned. Think about a tree during a storm. The tree that survives isn't the one that's completely rigid. It's the one that bends with the wind but doesn't break. Confident people are like that tree. They're flexible, they adapt, but they stay rooted in their self-belief. The foundation. Self-awareness. Building confidence starts with knowing yourself. This means understanding your strengths, acknowledging your weaknesses, and accepting both as part of who you are. Many people skip this step because it requires honesty, and sometimes that honesty can be uncomfortable. I remember when I first started really looking at myself honestly. I realized I was good at connecting with people, but I was terrible at organizing my time. Instead of beating myself up about the time management issue, I decided to work on it while also celebrating my people skills. This balanced view of myself became the foundation of my confidence. Self-awareness also means understanding your values. What really matters to you? When you know what you stand for, making decisions becomes easier. You're not constantly second-guessing yourself because you have an internal compass guiding you. Here's a practical exercise. Write down 5 things you're genuinely good at. They don't have to be huge talents. Maybe you're good at listening to friends, making people laugh, or remembering details. Then write down 3 areas where you'd like to improve. This isn't about judging yourself harshly. It's about getting clear on where you are right now. The power of small wins. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to build confidence is thinking they need to make massive changes overnight. They set huge goals like, I'm going to become completely confident in 3 months, and then feel defeated when it doesn't happen. Real confidence is built through what I call small wins. These are tiny victories that prove to yourself that you can do hard things. Maybe it's speaking up in one meeting this week, or going to the gym twice, or calling that friend you've been meaning to call. Each small win sends a message to your brain, hey, I can do this. And your brain starts to collect evidence that you're capable. Over time, this evidence becomes unshakable belief in yourself. I learned this lesson when I was afraid of public speaking. Instead of jumping straight into giving a big presentation, I started by asking one question in meetings. Then I shared one idea. Then I volunteered to introduce a speaker at a small event. Each step felt manageable. and each success made the next step feel possible. The key is to make these wins so small that you can't fail. If you want to start exercising, don't commit to an hour at the gym every day. Commit to putting on your workout clothes. That's it. Once you're in the clothes, you might decide to do more. But even if you don't, you've still won for the day. Reframing your inner voice. We all have that voice in our head. You know the one. It's the voice that says, "You can't do this," or "Everyone is going to judge you," or "You're not smart enough." The good news is that you can change this voice, but it takes practice and patience. The first step is becoming aware of this voice. Most of us are so used to our negative self-talk that we don't even notice it anymore. Start paying attention to what you tell yourself throughout the day. You might be surprised by how harsh you are to yourself. Once you notice the negative voice, you can start to challenge it. When it says, "You're going to mess this up," you can ask, "Is that really true? What evidence do I have for this? What would I tell a good friend in this situation?" Often, our inner critic is trying to protect us from failure or rejection, but it goes too far. You can acknowledge the concern without letting it control you. You might say to yourself, "I understand you're worried about this presentation, but I've prepared well, and even if it doesn't go perfectly, I'll learn something valuable." Another powerful technique is to replace negative statements with more balanced ones. Instead of, "I always mess up," try, "Sometimes things don't go as planned, and that's normal." Instead of, "I'm terrible at this," try, "I'm still learning this skill." The importance of body language. Here's something interesting. Your body language doesn't just communicate confidence to others, it actually creates confidence within you. Research has shown that how you hold your body affects how you feel about yourself. When you slouch, look down, or make yourself small, you're sending signals to your brain that you should be cautious or afraid. But when you stand tall, make eye contact, and take up appropriate space, you're telling your brain that you belong here and you're capable. Try this right now. Sit up straight, pull your shoulders back, and take a deep breath. Notice how that feels different from slouching. This isn't about being fake or putting on an act. It's about aligning your body with the confidence you want to feel. Good posture is one of the fastest ways to feel more confident. It's free, it's available to you right now, and it works immediately. But remember, this isn't about puffing out your chest or trying to intimidate people. It's about carrying yourself with quiet dignity. Eye contact is another powerful tool. When you make appropriate eye contact with people, you're showing that you're present and engaged. You're not hiding or apologizing for existing. Start small. Maybe just making eye contact with cashiers or saying hello to neighbors. Learning to handle rejection and failure. One of the biggest barriers to confidence is fear of rejection or failure. Many people avoid taking risks or putting themselves out there because they can't handle the possibility of being turned down or making mistakes. But here's the truth that confident people understand. Rejection and failure are not personal judgments about your worth. They're just information. When someone says no to your idea, they're not saying you're a bad person. When you fail at something, it doesn't mean you're incapable. It means you tried something challenging. I used to take every rejection personally. If someone didn't want to hire me, I thought it meant I wasn't good enough. If a friend couldn't hang out, I wondered what I had done wrong. This mindset was exhausting and kept me playing small. Everything changed when I started to see rejection as data rather than judgment. When I applied for a job and didn't get it, instead of thinking, I'm not qualified, I started thinking, this wasn't the right fit, or I can learn from this experience. The most confident people I know have been rejected more than most people because they put themselves out there more. They've learned that you can survive rejection, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Start practicing handling small rejections. Ask for a discount at a coffee shop. Invite someone to lunch who might say no. Apply for a job that feels like a stretch. The goal isn't to get rejected, it's to prove to yourself that you can handle it when it happens. Building competence in key areas. Confidence without competence is just arrogance. Real confidence comes from knowing you can do something well because you've put in the work to develop your skills. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but it does mean you need to be committed to growth. Choose a few key areas of your life and focus on building genuine competence there. This might be your job skills, your communication abilities, your physical fitness, or your relationships. The specific areas don't matter as much as your commitment to improvement. When you know you're good at something, really good, it gives you a foundation of confidence that can't be shaken easily. Even if you face challenges in other areas, you have proof that you can master difficult things. But here's the key. Focus on getting better, not on being perfect. Perfectionism is the enemy of confidence because it sets impossible standards. Instead, aim for progress. Celebrate getting better, even if you're not the best. I spent years trying to be perfect at everything, which meant I was confident at nothing. When I shifted to focusing on improvement, everything changed. I became confident in my ability to learn and grow, which is much more valuable than being perfect at any specific thing. The role of preparation. One of the simplest ways to build confidence is through preparation. When you know you're prepared for something, you naturally feel more confident about it. This applies to everything from job interviews to social situations to personal challenges. Preparation doesn't just mean studying or practicing, though those are important. It also means preparing mentally and emotionally for different scenarios. If you're nervous about a presentation, don't just rehearse the content. Think about how you'll handle questions you don't know the answer to, or what you'll do if the technology doesn't work. This isn't about being negative or expecting the worst. It's about being realistic and having a plan. When you know you can handle different situations, you feel more confident going into them. Preparation also builds competence, which we talked about earlier. The more you prepare for things, the better you get at them, which increases your confidence for next time. It's a positive cycle that keeps building on itself. But remember, there's a difference between good preparation and over-preparation. Good preparation gives you confidence. Over-preparation can actually increase anxiety because you're spending too much time thinking about everything that could go wrong. Surrounding yourself with the right people. The people around you have a huge impact on your confidence. If you're constantly around people who criticize you, doubt you, or make you feel small, it's going to be much harder to build confidence. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who believe in you and support your growth, confidence comes more naturally. This doesn't mean you need cheerleaders who tell you everything you do is amazing. That's not helpful either. You need people who see your potential, encourage you to grow, and give you honest feedback when you need it. Take a look at the people you spend the most time with. Do they generally make you feel better about yourself and your possibilities? or do they make you feel worse? This isn't about judging them as people. They might be dealing with their own confidence issues, but you need to be honest about the impact they have on you. If you realize you're surrounded by people who don't support your confidence, you don't necessarily have to cut them out of your life completely, but you might need to limit your time with them and actively seek out more supportive relationships. Look for people who are on their own growth journey. They don't have to be ahead of you. In fact, sometimes the best support comes from people who are facing similar challenges. What matters is that they're committed to becoming better versions of themselves. Taking action despite fear. Here's something that might surprise you. Confident people feel fear, just like everyone else. The difference is that they've learned to take action despite the fear, not in the absence of it. Many people wait until they feel confident before they take action. But it actually works the other way around. You build confidence by taking action, even when you're scared. Each time you do something that scares you and survive, you prove to yourself that you're braver than you thought. This doesn't mean being reckless or ignoring legitimate dangers. It means taking calculated risks and pushing yourself outside your comfort zone in small, manageable ways. Your comfort zone is like a muscle. If you never stretch it, it stays small and weak. But if you gradually push the boundaries, it expands and becomes stronger. The goal isn't to live in constant discomfort, but to regularly challenge yourself so that you're always growing. Start with small fears. If you're afraid of speaking in groups, speak up in one meeting. If you're afraid of trying new things, try one new restaurant or hobby. If you're afraid of rejection, ask for one small favor. Each time you act despite fear, your confidence grows. Learning from confident people. One of the fastest ways to build confidence is to learn from people who already have it. But be careful here. Don't just copy what confident people do on the surface. Try to understand the deeper principles behind their behavior. Watch how confident people handle mistakes. They don't pretend they never make them. They acknowledge them, learn from them, and move on. They don't spend hours beating themselves up or making excuses. Notice how confident people communicate. They're usually good listeners. They ask questions, and they're comfortable with silence. They don't feel the need to fill every moment with talking or to have an opinion about everything. Pay attention to how confident people handle criticism. They don't get defensive or attack back. They consider whether the feedback is valid and useful, and they respond appropriately. If the criticism is unfair or mean-spirited, they don't take it personally. But remember, confidence looks different in different people. Some confident people are outgoing and social, while others are quiet and thoughtful. Some are naturally optimistic, while others are more realistic. Don't try to become someone else. Use what you learn to become a more confident version of yourself. The long game. Building real confidence is a long-term project. There are no shortcuts or quick fixes, despite what some people might tell you. It's something you work on consistently over months and years, not days and weeks. This can be frustrating in our instant gratification world, but it's actually good news. It means that every small step you take is building towards something bigger. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're investing in your future confidence. Don't get discouraged if you don't see dramatic changes immediately. Confidence builds gradually, like compound interest. The work you do today might not pay off for weeks or months, but it will pay off. There will also be setbacks. You'll have days when you feel less confident, or situations that shake your self-belief. This is normal and expected. What matters is not that you never have these moments, but that you don't let them stop you from continuing the work. Think of building confidence like getting in shape. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be fit. You go consistently over time, and gradually you get stronger. Some days you'll feel motivated. Other days you won't, but you show up anyway. Practical daily habits. Let me give you some concrete things you can do every day to build confidence. Start each morning by writing down 3 things you're grateful for and 1 thing you're looking forward to. This sets a positive tone and reminds you of good things in your life. Throughout the day, notice when you accomplish things, even small ones. Did you handle a difficult conversation well? Did you help someone? Did you complete a task you'd been putting off? Acknowledge these moments instead of just moving on to the next thing. Practice good posture and breathing. Set reminders on your phone if you need to. When you notice you're slouching or breathing shallowly, correct it. Your body affects your mind more than you might think. End each day by writing down 1 thing you did well and 1 thing you learned. This helps you focus on progress rather than perfection, and it trains your brain to look for positives. Make 1 small decision each day based on what you want, rather than what you think you should do or what others expect. This builds your connection to your own desires and strengthens your decision-making muscle. Dealing with comparison. Social media has made comparison easier than ever. And comparison is one of confidence's biggest enemies. When you're constantly looking at other people's highlight reels, it's hard to feel good about your own behind-the-scenes reality. The first step is recognizing when you're comparing yourself to others. It's such an automatic behavior that many of us don't even notice we're doing it. Start paying attention to when you feel bad about yourself after looking at social media or talking to certain people. Remember that you're seeing a curated version of other people's lives. The person who seems to have everything together on Instagram might be struggling with things you can't see. The colleague who seems so confident at work might go home and worry about the same things you do. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, last month, or last year. Are you kinder than you used to be? Are you braver? Have you learned new skills? This is the only comparison that matters. When you catch yourself comparing, try to turn it into inspiration instead of intimidation. If someone has something you want, whether it's a skill, a lifestyle, or a quality, ask yourself what you can learn from them, rather than feeling bad about not having it yet. The role of self-compassion. This might be the most important section of everything we've talked about. Self-compassion is absolutely essential for building lasting confidence, but it's something many people struggle with. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness you'd show a good friend. When you make a mistake, instead of attacking yourself with harsh criticism, you acknowledge what happened and encourage yourself to do better next time. Many people think self-compassion is weak or that it will make them lazy, but research shows the opposite. People who are compassionate with themselves are actually more motivated to improve and more resilient in the face of challenges. Think about how you talk to yourself when you mess up. Would you ever talk to a friend that way? Probably not. So why is it okay to talk to yourself that harshly? Start noticing your self-talk and gently correcting it when it's unnecessarily harsh. Instead of, "I'm so stupid for making that mistake," try, "That didn't go as planned, but I can learn from this. Instead of, I'm never going to get better at this, try, I'm still learning, and that's okay. This isn't about lowering your standards or making excuses. It's about creating the kind of internal environment where growth and confidence can flourish. Final thoughts. Building unstoppable confidence is one of the best investments you can make in yourself. It affects every area of your life, your relationships, your career, your health, your happiness. But remember, it's called unstoppable confidence, not perfect confidence. You're not trying to become someone who never feels doubt or fear. You're becoming someone who can feel those things and keep moving forward anyway. You're becoming someone who knows their worth isn't determined by external circumstances or other people's opinions. The journey isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Every step you take toward greater confidence is a step toward a more fulfilling life. You deserve to feel good about yourself, to go after what you want, and to believe in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Start today. Start small. Start where you are with what you have. Your future self will thank you for beginning this journey. Remember, confidence isn't a destination. It's a way of traveling through life. And you have everything you need to begin that journey right now. Thanks for spending this time with me today.